Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss Garrison Brothers opening a bar and an arena in Palm Springs, California. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Evan Van Scoik, Lori Mangum, and Demetri Kane.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey.
How we doing?
Good. We're going to be talking about Garrison Brothers and opening up a bar in Palm Springs, California. I thought that was interesting. Of course, they are the high Texas-based, distillery. So it's interesting to end up in Palm Springs, of all places. Kind of a swanky place out in California. Very different than what I think of Garrison Brothers and their cowboy bourbon and everything's cowboy themed. And now they're out in Palm Springs. Crazy to think about. But and we don't know the backstory, so we have no idea how this happens. So we're just going to speculate. When we don't know, we'll just make up the story. So yeah, we'll know that going in. But before we get to that discussion, Evan was saying there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, Evan?
Yeah. So just, a little background on the conversations that happen between shows. We actually came up with an interesting idea that we were talking about the way people pronounce last names. And I am definitely a person, you look at my last name and who knows which things you're supposed to pronounce. So my question for the rest of you, you ever deal with people saying your last name wrong?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My last name wrong, I would say is pronounced wrong 95% of the time. It's pronounced Ackley instead of Akeley. And, but I don't really correct people unless they ask is that right? And then I'll say it. But if they don't ask, I just leave it like that. Because I think it's more reflective of them than of me. So and especially on stuff like this, shows and stuff like that, I'll see people do social media shout outs or whatever. And I always think that's reflective of our personal relationship. If they're calling me Ackley, they don't know who I am. So, so I would leave that alone. I don't correct people, but yeah, I get that a lot. So Lori, it all came to you. We were saying your name is actually pretty simple. I mean, phonetically, there's nothing difficult about your name, Mangum.
Right.
But again, the brain, I think, does something to most people where they look at your name and think it's Magnum. And we talked to you about that, and that really is the case, right? You get that
It really is the case, yes. And in general, I don't do a lot of correcting, and part of that is just because it's exhausting. I've been doing this for a really long time now, and it's just not worth it, really. And you said something like, it reflects on them whether they know you or not. But with my last name, there's even some variance among how different cousins pronounce it. Like
really?
We all have the same last name, but we live in different parts of the country. And so depending on where people live, like the influence of accents and things like that change it quite a bit. So we do have some people who, were born farther north that do a little bit more of the Mangum kind of thing with the ang. Then, other people really want it to be like a hard man gum. And I'm like, we have to go hard on the gum, guys. Like it's aggressive. But
you go hard on the man.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes. No.
Now, McNew, most everybody pronounces your name wrong because your last name is Burton, but we pronounce it McNew for some reason.
I never changed my last name. totally wouldn't.
we totally blow the. No one can mess up McNew. McNew's an easy name. Yeah.
Well, unless it happens, like if I have a doctor's appointment or something, they're like McNeil. Like people want to hear McNeil, I think, because it's more common. But McNew is easy. I don't know why people struggle with it.
Oh yeah. Well, when I saw that last name, I loved it. I was like, this person is not Stephanie. It's just McNew. She's McNew.
When I became McNew, Steve just loved it, and we went with it.
I was like, this is a great name. You can't mess it up.
You could definitely like just make it weird and be like, put way too much emphasis on the you. McNew.
New. That sounds like Monty Python.
Here's a guy who's saying how to make fun of someone's last name. When I call him Evan Van Squeak, he gets mad. He doesn't like that. That's incorrect, sir.
That is one I do not like. You know what? If you at least attempt to say my last name, like, you're going to get it right. Like, we can't all have the last name Kane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you also don't have the first name of Demetrius. You know how many people ask me if I'm Greek?
That's a trade-off.
Greek.
People look at me and they go, "You don't look Greek." And I'm like, "I'm not Greek." And they're like, "Then why are you named Demetrius?" I'm like,
Demetrius isn't even a Greek name.
Hey, well, the spelling is, so the E's, if it's
like Demeter.
D-E-M-E is Demeter, which is Greek.
Right. Like the ES makes me think more Eastern Europe.
Sounds like Russian to me.
Yeah, so it's like you have two different variations.
Russian,
or people will come in and meet me and they're like, "You're white." And I'm like, "Yes." Like names don't
You're so
mean
observant.
anything. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, like, and so it's kind of like a funny thing. So yes, Kane, but Kane's actually spelled very weird because Kane, C-A-I-N, is very uncommon.
That's fair.
Most people know it as C-A-N-E.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or with a K.
Do people mess that up? Do people mess it up? C-A-I-N?
All the time. Everybody.
What do they say?
Because
I can't imagine.
Well, they say Kane, but they just spell it all wrong. So everything.
I could see it.
My first name's butchered. My last name's butchered, and I just sit there and they're like, they look at it. And they're like, "Does that look right?" And I'm like, "No, it's not right at all." But you know.
Okay. Now the warden's maiden name, she doesn't go by that now, but her maiden name now. So let's see who can get this. L-O-J-K-O-V-I-C. You want to see someone shut down? You have that last name. You'll see.
Is it like Lojiv or something?
Okay. All right. Lojiv. Okay.
Yeah. Lojovic.
Lojovic. Yeah.
Okay, Lojovic. All right.
So you married a LoJack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there you go. That's an 0 for 5. So Lakovic is what they say. Again,
they just leave the J out. They just pretend that J isn't there.
Yeah, they pretend like the J never existed.
So
the J makes a C sound.
It's Czech, but she's also she is half Polish, but the name is Czech. Her grandfather was from the Czech Republic. So
cool. Yeah. So, Evan, before we move on, you say your name the way you want people to say your name.
So it's Van Scoik. So the way I try to tell people is think like you're about to say the word school, right? But then it's like, okay, there's a koi pond, right? There's koi fish, and it's going to end okay, right? It's going to end okay. It's going to end with a K. So it's Van Scoik.
My God, there's a book you got to get out to say this.
You do, because it's rough. So it is a Dutch last name. It's been changed many times over the year. It's not recognizable from its origin name, which it came from a Dutch city it was actually a village that no longer exists. But it was it means like of Schijk. So there was a place called Schijk in the Netherlands.
Shite.
And then
he is of shit. Yes.
And then there's thinking it. I said it.
You did.
A branch of the family that has a.
She's in my head right now. She's swimming around in there.
In the Hudson River, called Van Schijk Island.
So you in the Hudson River.
It's an island named after that. Oh yeah, I'll just power through, guys.
He's going.
Everybody messes
for it all the way.
Here comes the horse.
Whether we wanted it or not.
Look, Demetri, funny enough, even though my first name's only 4 letters, you would be surprised how many times I get even or Yvonne.
What?
Or Kevin.
What?
Kevin.
Chick-fil-A
These
last week put
suckers.
Kevin on my order.
Kevin.
Chick-fil-A doesn't make mistakes. What?
No, well, they put Kevin,
Apparently
and
they
not
do.
Evan.
Oh. I'll tell you what.
Oh man.
Cop Ken, he's the number one ranked customer at the ABV Barrel Shop because we rank our customers. Not by your spend or anything like that. Just it's a feel. He's our number one ranked customer.
feel.
He brought in Wendy's. They got something called the honey biscuit. Oh my God. That thing's fantastic. It's life changing.
On the breakfast
It's
menu. It's only
life-changing?
On the
available
breakfast
before
menu.
10 a.m.
He brought it in the morning. Yeah, he stopped in the morning. He was on the way to work, and he brought us these honey biscuits from Wendy's. And my God.
What else is on them? Is it just a biscuit that has honey? Or is it-
Well,
Sticky
and a
gluten.
chicken breast.
It's a chicken,
I-
fried
I-
chicken breast with like honey.
Yeah,
This
and
sounds-
butter. I
butter
guess
almost.
there's just some
this
butter
sounds
too.
amazing.
It is
Wasn't
amazing.
this?
Pretty-
Why wasn't
pretty
this
good.
the small talk? This makes sense. This
Biscuit.
honey
Fast food
biscuits.
breakfast.
Seriously, I never heard of this. I didn't know it was
Fast
a
food
thing.
breakfast. Yes,
That's
I
a
would
good
not
small
have-
talk.
that is a
would've
great
been-
small talk.
I would
Save
have
that
gone
one.
to Wendy's for breakfast, but he went there. Damn, that was good.
Mm.
Well, we need to do a
I-
shout out to Wendy's for coming out with awesome food that's
Oh,
probably never
Send him an
frozen.
invoice for this show. This sounds like
Yeah,
it's
send them
yeah,
an
so
invoice and let's see if they're let's have a Monday morning podcast or like a
Ooh.
middle of the week podcast where we do it and see if they'll bring us food. You know, like
Yeah.
let's do it during shout outs.
yeah.
Mm.
Because I could see, okay, we send it an invoice. ABV Network charges you, and they're like, they go back and they listen to the show. They're like, what the fuck? Invoice a commercial? And they go back and listen, like, oh, yeah, I did. I heard the commercial. Go ahead and pay them. I heard it on the show. Yeah. They were talking about, yeah.
I do feel like if the company's big enough, they don't really read these. They're just like, okay.
yeah.
Probably
I
do
would-
well, Steve.
I
Have
put
you-
it at under $1,200 too, because then they're like, oh, we gotta hit you with the tax form and all that. If it's over $1,200, $1,150.
Well, Steve, have you gotten the unaffiliated domain registration like scam where they send you a letter with an invoice for like $235
Oh yeah.
for the domain registration recertification, and you're like, I have a domain.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing. No.
We should do the exact same thing. Just send these to periodic people we talk about. Breakfast sandwich.
Yeah. Breakfast sandwich. Well,
Mm.
$1,150. Yeah, send us a check. All right.
Okay.
Well, guess what? It is time to drink. That was our small talk within the small talk. What is everyone drinking? Or maybe it was our ad within the small talk. It seemed like an ad. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew's out. So we will go with Lori. Lori, what do you got?
All right. I am drinking some Uncle Nearest 1856.
All right. No, nothing there.
Nothing.
All right. Demetri, what do you got?
I'm going to be doing some Nashville Barrel Company.
Okay. Okay. Decent. This is a high-pitched cork pop. I've got Garrison Brothers. How do you say this one,
Balmoral.
Evan?
Yeah, so
Balmoral?
I asked my friends who work down in the Dallas area. It is Balmoral.
Balmoral. Okay.
Balmoral.
Good. I didn't know that. Okay. Balmoral. So I've got the Balmoral. Here we go.
Ooh,
Nice.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
all about that bass.
Yeah. It was bassy and sloshy. So we'll see. I think Evan can beat it. What do you got, Evan?
All right, well, I've got Garrison Brothers, but the Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Who won?
I think Steve won.
I won. Yes.
All right.
Yes. Cheers, gang.
Steve.
Cheers.
All right.
Dark that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It is dark.
Mm.
All right. Well, we'll do next. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about Garrison Brothers opening up a bar in Palm Springs, California. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, We are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Hello, this is Danny Kennard, and I'm recording on the ABV Network.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about Garrison Brothers and their new bar in Palm Springs, California.
Yes, we are. So, I saw a photo of this online, and it's not like, oh, they have Garrison Brothers at their bar. No, it's Garrison Brothers Cocktail Bar. It is at the arena where the minor league hockey team for the Seattle Kraken play. It's in Palm Springs, California. And it's Garrison Brothers. And what do we think about that? Because you think normally it's not uncommon to have, the local distillery featured, as a bar, but Garrison Brothers is a Texas-based distillery. And the fact that they're all the way out in California is pretty unique. If this was happening in Dallas or San Antonio or Houston, I would be like, yeah, of course Garrison Brothers has the bar at that arena. But the fact that they're out in California, I think makes it pretty unusual, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would think so.
I know that they've been growing in that market, and an arena is a less weird place than a standalone bar in Palm Springs to me, because the cowboy, get dirty and all of that that doesn't really vibe with the poshness of Palm Springs.
Yes.
There's cowboys there, but it's more of a giddy up cowboy kind of thing instead of a, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird.
It kind of is weird. It's a weird city for Garrison Brothers to land in, for sure.
Palm Springs is a very gay friendly place too, and I don't get that. The brands just seem to clash with the personality of Palm Springs.
Lori, it probably always comes down to there's some sort of personal relationship or something. You find out that somebody knew somebody or something like that, and that's how it comes about. But I don't know. Again, we don't know the personal story here. But a lot of these things that are really weird like that come out in that way a lot of times. But again, that's just speculation because I don't know the story. But yeah, what do you think, McNew?
So I think it's interesting too. I thought Palm Springs was an interesting city. And that's one of my bucket list cities. I love that ranch house, that MCM design. Palm Springs is on my list to visit. But it felt weird for Garrison Brothers. So I almost wondered, do they vacation there? Do they have grandma living there? It's a curious place, and I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah. Like I
it's
said,
on my bucket list too. I want to go stay there.
It's on mine too, because my favorite artist is a guy by the name of Josh Agel or Shag, and he's Palm Springs based. He has a store there. So he literally has his, where it's also a gallery and a store. So I'd like to go see his stuff. And so that would be the draw. If I was out in California, I'd be like, man, and especially around Palm Springs, I'd want to go there to see his place. So for sure. Demetri, what do you think about this? You own a distillery.
I want to go stay in the Trixie Motel.
The Trixie Motel.
Let's go.
I want to go stay there. Yes.
Is
It's
it a
one
cool
of my
place?
favorite drag queens, Trixie
Yeah.
Okay.
Motel.
We both have
And-
2 birthdays. Let's do a birthday trip.
Let's do it. I'm so game for that.
I'm good. Okay.
All right. Well, you gotta go to Josh Agel's place while you're out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Pick me up some stuff. I'll give you a list of stuff I need. Demetri, what do you think about this? Would it be something you consider? All of a sudden, somebody says, "Hey, Demetri, guess what? There's an opportunity here. You know where the Seattle Kraken? You know who they are? Well, their minor league team plays in Palm Springs, and I know someone who might be able to get you a bar out there. Would that be something you would do?"
So the shout out to all the listeners, anybody in Florida or on the coast. I'm a huge fan of, I think I should go to Texas. If a Texas distillery can get into California, I need to go to their back door and like get the minor league team there. I need to be the
There
guy
you
that
go.
sets up the bar there and just be like, I don't
Right.
know. I think it's really cool. I think it's cool to see a smaller distillery doing that.
It is kind of cool. The small distillery. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
This isn't Beam or Heaven Hill or one of the big
Right.
ones.
Yeah.
Where they got all the money in the world. So yeah.
I kind of agree with like what Lori's saying. Like, it doesn't quite make sense. I think it has to be a relationship thing, or
Right.
maybe an owner or a friend of an owner or something like that, like has a relationship there, and they're like, hey, let's do this. Because in this industry, we all know it's so much relationships.
It could be.
Pretty much.
It could be this as simple as the owner of the Seattle Kraken, who then owns the minor league. It's like, man, I love that Garrison Brothers whiskey.
Yeah.
We should have like a bar there where I can go and I can get my favorite.
I can see that happening.
Like that.
Yeah.
It could literally,
Yeah.
and then they call Garrison Brothers and say, hey, owner of the team loves you guys. Would you be willing to do it? It could be that. That's how something like that could go down. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it has to be a relationship thing, because it doesn't make sense to like the people
It's
that
not
I
close
see.
to them, proximity wise. It's
Well, also it's just like who I see drinking Garrison Brothers.
yeah.
Like the
Right.
people that I know that love Garrison Brothers, I don't see them in Palm
That's
Springs.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, typically like there's a certain persona that I see with it's, Texas proud, very, it's very cowboy kind of
Yeah.
esque feeling to like, I don't know.
They're very cowboy
Garrison-
with all they do. I mean, even their flagship whiskey now is their cowboy bourbon. I mean, so yeah, they're very cowboy forward. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even just like, I'm not going to talk about politics, but even politically, like Texas and California.
Well, here's the
They
thing
don't like
I
each
was
other,
thinking
yeah.
is that all these people from California are moving to Texas, and they're like, "Don't California my Texas? Maybe we're going to Texas your California."
Texas.
So it's
That's funny.
revenge. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe it's marketing. Maybe the Texas has said, "Hey, we need to, so we get more people." If that's I don't even know what the migration numbers are, but if that's a thing, a way to get more, they get hooked on the
Migration.
Garrison, then they move to Texas because they love
Looked
the
on the
Garrison.
Garrison.
The bar is good, but I want to be where the distillery is. So who knows?
Garrison, it's a gateway whiskey.
Gateway whiskey.
I've
Cowboy
got
gateway.
I got some ideas on some marketing spin that can connect the brand
Okay,
with
let's
this.
see what you got. Let's a
All right,
conspiracy,
so-
basically, because we don't know.
Yeah.
So this is conspiracy. We'll see.
All right. So Garrison Brothers, when I think of that, I would describe it. It's big, it's bold, it's deep flavors. All right.
Okay.
Now, who are the Seattle Kraken? The Kraken is down in the deep. It's a big, bold,
God, he's stretching.
Oh
right?
my
They went with a
goodness.
mythological
Evan.
name for the new franchise, right? Everybody chooses like historical things or animals, but no, the Seattle Kraken went with the Kraken mythological beast from the deep, big, bold, deep flavors for our big, bold, deep team. That's the Seattle Kraken, the minor league team. They're all in on this marketing that this is who we are, and they wanted a whiskey to reflect that. I told you it was going to be marketing spin, and
Why
I was
wouldn't it
trying
just
to
go
find a
like
way of
Kraken
connecting
rum?
the two.
Kraken rum.
Yeah, that's
There's
the
already
thing.
a
Kraken rum is
Kraken
the
rum. It
thing.
would make sense for the bar.
Well, maybe it's in the stadium too, but we're not doing a show on that.
Okay.
You know that they had to approach Kraken Rum, and Kraken Rum probably just didn't come up with the money. They're like, just have us there because we got the same name.
Well, that might be
we're not going to pay up for that.
That might be up in Seattle at the actual, NHL team.
You would think
So,
that's a natural partnership.
Is
for
this
sure.
an arena that has other functions? Like, does
Oh yeah, it's multi-purpose.
Yeah, they do
it's multi-purpose.
concerts and stuff like that.
So if
Yeah.
they have the rodeo circuit coming through, that kind of makes sense to me.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
You think the rodeo goes through Palm Springs?
And they go a lot of places that don't make any damn sense.
Okay, maybe. I just think of Palm Springs. I think of pretty high class. I mean, it's it seems
Classy and
well-to-do, pretty well-to-do. I mean, that's,
yeah,
Urban cowboy culture is in right now.
true.
maybe. I guess I don't know.
Yellowstone is doing quite well, so apparently.
Maybe, yeah. Well, that could
Yeah.
be. That doesn't hurt for sure. Yellowstone is definitely popular.
Yeah, every time I see people buying like flannels, I'm like, seriously, you don't need that.
I see a lot of adults wearing like Yellowstone hats and I've never watched the show Yellowstone, but I know enough to know what the logo looks like in that because I'm part of culture. I mean, I see people wearing that hat a lot. I was like, that shit's popular.
My problem's with the hat and the cowboy boots because if you work on a farm, cowboy boots are great if you're riding. That's why you have the heel. But if you're not riding, those things are hellish on the ankles. And it's just,
Yeah.
They're great for line dancing.
Oh God, line
I
dancing.
forgot.
It all goes back to line dancing, of course.
Yes, it does. It came full circle, guys.
That's why we do these shows, so we can talk about line dancing. It's all how we can figure out a way to get into line dancing.
How is it?
Let's do a line dancing bourbon. Like, what are you drinking when you're line dancing?
Line dancing. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm the worst. I drink water.
Really? That's
Yep.
embarrassing.
The workout.
I am sweating. Okay, it is like a workout. All right, I'm dancing for like 3 or 4 straight hours.
You need to have a high
with
proof
some
bourbon.
electrolytes.
Yeah. Or a high proof bourbon. One of the
You
two.
know what?
Have you thought
if
about
we had a
maybe cutting
bourbon
down on
infused-
dancing? If you cut down on the amount of time you're dancing, you could increase it by, you could have a couple drinks.
Yeah. Well, take a break from time to time.
I see it the other way around. If I cut down on the amount of hours I was drinking, I could dance more.
Oh,
You see, the two are in perpetual conflict with each other, and it is about finding balance in life. And that balance is us coming together and drinking for a few hours on a Friday night, and then tomorrow afternoon at the ABV Barrel Shop.
There you go. There you go. On that note, we'll wrap this one up. I don't think we resolved this, but we've got some questions, and we are working on a barrel pick with Garrison Brothers. So when I get down there to Texas,
ask
and I've got those guys in a room, I'm going to be like, "What the heck's going on with the Kraken deal?" I'm going to turn into Kyle Neely. What's the deal with the Kraken? Why do you got the bar there? And we'll get into it. So we'll see what happens. But until then, for right now, we don't know. We speculated. There was some good work there in terms of speculation group, and we'll see. We might have hit it with one of these scenarios. We might have hit it. We'll see. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Evan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Wit Wisdom Whiskey. And if that's not really doing it for you, you can find us anywhere across the Barrel Shop Syndicate and come to one of our great events. There are actually, I think, about 30 spots remaining in the Barrel Shop Syndicate. So you want to sign up before it closes again. All right. There are only 30 spots. Once it's filled up, you don't get in again until it gets reopened.
I think we're closing for like a year, so it's going to be a while because it's taking a while to get. We haven't filled it up as quick the second time, so we're going to wait a long time. So
awesome perks. You want to be a part of the syndicate, especially if you're in the St. Louis area, but you can also get in even if you're not in the region. Steve makes a lot of accommodations for members across the country. So join the Barrel Shop Syndicate, get involved, and have some fun with me and the rest of the members.
We do barrel picks everywhere. We do online events. So there's a lot of ways you can be involved without having to be in St. Louis. All right, Demetri, where can people find you?
You can find me at Demetri_Kane at Facebook and Instagram, or at Nobletons on Facebook or Instagram, or any one of my brands.
All right,
On
Lori.
Instagram, Facebook.
Y'all can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Spirited Curves.
McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. We got our store. We've got our previous shows. We put Bourbon Zeppelin out there, our newsletters, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Please come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We are in Arnold, Missouri, which is a St. Louis suburb. We'd love to see you, and if you can't make it, though, at a very minimum, sign up for our email distribution or text at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Farnients will have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Later.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the Hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.